Welcome, everybody, to episode 14 of the AUSNZ HCR2 Community Podcast. Yes, this is not GDR's voice. He's a little bit under the weather. He's asked me to take on the introduction for him so that he can rest his voice for some bits and pieces that he wants to do specifically. We have a special guest on tonight, Creeperz, someone that I've known and respected for a long time. Really happy to have him on the show. We have, of course, our usual co-hosts, Pete, Alpha, and that guy Eva, as well as GDR. So, not taking anything away from GDR. Look forward to speaking with Creeperz, but first up, we'll just head around the co-hosts and hosts and see how everybody is. How are you, Alpha?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good to hear. How's your couple of weeks been?
It's been okay. School athletics day was yesterday.
How'd you go?
Didn't participate, just walked up and down a hill about 20 times to go to the canteen and back.
Sounds exciting.
Sounds like fun. How about you, Pete? How are you doing?
Yeah, I've been super busy with my new job. I don't know if you guys noticed, I wasn't here last week because of work commitments. Sorry, last episode. It wasn't last week. But yeah, been good other than that.
We missed you and Pete's power somethings events.
Pete's Power Public Events.
Pete's Power Public Events.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And GDR, do you want to say a quick hello?
Yeah, g'day listeners. Feeling a bit under the weather this episode. Leave it up to my good man Eva to take care of proceedings and chime in when I can. I've just got a bit of the common cold, but I'll battle through.
All right.
Thanks Eve for taking over. So
Get on the beers.
Yeah,
Get on the beers.
Yeah. Thanks, Robot. I'll take that advice. I'll take that advice.
I think you might need something stronger than beers, though.
Yeah.
Before we get stuck into all the other stuff, we wanted to mention something that's close to my heart. One of our members' mums passed away. AUSNZ Arrow. His mum passed away. We wanted to send out our condolences. It's tough losing a family member. It's even tougher losing a mum. She's usually the glue that holds the family together. And must say it's one of those things that we're thinking of you. That's all I wanted to say. We're thinking of you, and if you need anybody to reach out to, we're all here to help and listen and everything we can. So
here, Arrow. My heart goes out to you, mate. Lots of love, buddy. Yeah, couldn't imagine what you're going for your champion. If you're listening to this, mate, sending our love to you.
We have had another passing away of a cricketer. Now, I'm not a cricketer, so I've asked for people to help me with understanding who Andrew Symonds is. He was the guy who invented the white zinc on his lips. He was an excellent fielder, worshipped as a god by all of his cricket fans. Unfortunately, I didn't know him or watch him play cricket. My dad probably would have told me everything about him if I got to see him. He was notable for hitting a streaker as they were running across the field. So,
yeah, what a legend in the game. It's really unfortunate that he passed away because I don't know. I just must have been travelling at high speed. For those that don't know, he had a car accident.
Yep.
Flipped the car multiple times. Only car involved, I think, must have been going around a sharp bend and lost control and died at the scene. That's quite horrific, I suppose. It's he was a great cricketer. He was fantastic. Probably one of the best fieldsmen to ever played a game.
He was a great character too.
Yeah, he was very down to earth, and had a great character about him. So. Yeah, and I think it's true what they say, Eva, doesn't it? It comes in threes, doesn't it? I mean, we've had 3 cricketers pass away, and good things, well, in this case, bad things, come threes.
Yeah.
He was also known for his dreadlocks. Our main man in Tassie, Dreddy, he met him in real life, and Andrew Symonds actually came up to him and said, "Oh, nice hairdo, buddy." And he went to do the same thing. He goes, "Don't you touch me." There was a little bit more colourful language, but keeping it PG.
GDR was going to talk about the team event tournament. I was not aware of this, but it involves a matchup between events that are played, like team events that are played, and maximum scores. And obviously, you go round for round, team event for team event. The AUSNZ players we have currently in this tournament are Swiss Cheese and Swiss Cheese Alter Count. Both of them are very high scoring. I've seen him in AUSNZ smashing out numbers that I look at and go, where did that come from? So in round 4,
I think Cheesy's account was also called Chunky Soup.
oh, there you go.
That was his old account, and I think he switched it back and forth. Amy was also in the tournament, having a blank on the other AUSNZ guys, but Amy was definitely there, and I'll have to go back through my list and see the other guys.
Cheese is going to make it through to round 6 now, so we're up to round 6.
Didn't you have a crack, Alpha?
I was in.
Yeah, I was going to say Alfie was in it. You're forgetting our co-host there, GTR.
Oh yeah, sorry, Alfie.
Not that I did any good.
Yeah, sorry about that, Alpha. I've kind of forgotten about you over the last couple of weeks since you left AUSNZ too, but you know that's all good.
Hey, come on, let's leave that out of this.
when Rogan decided to make his own team from scratch, but that's okay. I still love you, Alfie. It's all good, mate.
While we're at it, I wanted to say a special thanks for Tessa for last episode, and I was hoping that she was going to make an appearance tonight to give Creeperz a bit of hell, but not going to happen. Let's stop me from talking, and let's get maybe Pete to have a go at the public events. What have you got for us, Pete?
Yep. Well, first of all, I'm going to start off with saying a big thank you for stepping into my shoes. Just Chill last episode did a fantastic job. The public events, apparently there's been 3, and I'm going to name them in order. Satellite Sprint, Downforce Dilemma, and then Spinous Discus Ejectus, whatever that means. The Satellite Sprint, that was a moon public event, which was, I'm pretty sure it was a
Time attack.
time attack. Yeah, it was time attack.
The best type of moon event.
Yeah, always good fun, the moon events. I can't really remember it because that was 3 weeks ago. Do you remember it much, Alfie?
Yeah, of course I remember it. I love moon events, and I got 10 points in pretty much every track.
Of course you did. You're a Moonlander pro. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
It's just the same recycled tracks we have every time. Nothing special. Gets repetitive over the course of time. But it can be changed up by using different vehicles, and it is actually fun.
The one with like the antenna field and all those sort of tracks. Next one across was Downforce Dilemma, which was a time attack event, which I'm not a huge fan of because I just don't have the time for doing cups.
It was a flip time attack.
I'm more of a team event racer.
It was a flip time attack.
Oh, flip time attack, that's right. You got a flip score, a flip bonus, time bonus for it. I remember I was using my super bike with that one, with wings and air control, and what else did I have? Winter tires. Yep, that was my main setup. What did you use, Alfie?
I remember I was flipping bad.
It was flipping bad, was it?
Yeah, I was flipping bad at it too.
Nice. This one, Spinous Discus Ejectus, is another time attack, but with a twist. It's got 4 vehicles, all with fixed tunes and fixed parts. The parts were landing boost.
Start boost.
Start boost, that's it.
Yeah, start boost and landing boost.
But the twist is your suspension is set on 1, everything else is on 20, and there's a lower gravity than normal. So it doesn't behave like it normally would.
Like moon gravity.
I actually quite kind of enjoy this one. Although I haven't had much chance. Yeah, it's got lower gravity.
Are you talking about the current public event?
The current public event.
Oh, I can't stand it. I think it's awful. It's dreadful.
No, it's actually pretty fun because it's different.
I can't stand it.
the
It's
same
just
tracks.
it's just horrible. Like I get so frustrated with the suspension at one. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we all ask for new public events that don't recycle the same things. We get one, and now we all complain.
Well, I'm not
No, I'm not
complaining
complaining.
because it's taught me how to use the banana better.
Alfie, you're right. Like we do ask for new things, but we ask for new fun things, not
Well,
new
it is fun.
shit things.
It is fun.
It's different.
I don't find it fun.
I think you're on your own on this one.
I probably,
You're on your own,
but
GTR.
I'd say I'd have a few that would support me in that. It's I found it I just found it lacking everything, to be honest.
Like everything. What would you change about it then?
Well, for starters, I'd put suspension to max.
Yeah, but then it just turns into another time attack.
Or maybe not just max. Maybe just have it at 10.
But it's something. It's different.
Well, I honestly think there are certain cars that actually work better with suspension turned down.
The rotator's one of them.
I'd probably add a few more parts. I'd probably say.
Yeah, I'm missing one part at least. It'd be good to have like wings or something like that. You're right with it. Maybe even coin boost. But yeah, just the lower gravity was a nice little twist. It makes it so you can't practice on cups just to get a good score. You just deal with it.
It would be good if the next public event, which is multi-jump, was low gravity.
Oh, that'd be nice. I love a good multi-jump on the moon.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
always very satisfying.
I'll tell you what public event I'm looking forward to coming back is the 2km time trials fuel boost, the speed event.
Yes.
That was just so much fun. Now that's the type of fun I'm talking about. Like that is fun. Like I would waste gems on that. Even if I got past 400 points, I'd go to like 1,000. I think I actually did last time.
I would have loved to get pit stop.
So is that just the 2 kilometer one with all the fuels, or is that the one that has you collect different parts as you go?
No. Just the fuel boosts.
Just the fuels. Yeah, that one's fun. I like it when they put that in team events too.
Yeah, they're good. Much better than some of the other stuff they've done. But
I would pay to get pit stop back. Probably an unpopular opinion, but I loved it.
Yeah, I don't mind pit stop. I think that's the type of ideas that I like Fingersoft coming out with, like those type of events, not this crappy, shitty one that we got now.
Well, at least we all know your opinion on it, GTR.
Yeah, I voiced my opinion on the Fingersoft server as well, and I didn't get any reactions to it. But I can't stand this one. I don't even think I've gotten past 50 points. I don't even think I've gotten the common chest.
Well, I'm currently sitting on 60 points, so that's only because I haven't really had the time.
I'm on 276 and counting.
Excellent.
Mainly because I want the legendary hearts.
Let's move on to team events. The event called It's a Rental with the Mark II sports car, chopper, Formula, and Moonlander. I don't even remember this one. It was that long ago.
I didn't mind this one. This was the sports car on the moon map. Towards the start, like at the start, I was struggling. I upgraded my landing boost to max to level 7. I was consistently getting like 8-9k. I was getting like 1,500, 1,400 meters.
Now I remember it. So I'll go through the tracks. First track was stay on the ground, airtime penalty. Second track was no fuel distance, drive as far as you can. That was on the moon. Track 3 was time attack, and track 4 was a multi-jump.
Yeah, the multi-jump level, I that's one of my worst levels, that one, because I always keep hitting my head, and it stuffs me up I lose momentum, and it just it kills it.
So track 2, you had 2 options, I remember. You had the sports car or the Formula. Which one were you going with, Alfie?
From what I can remember, it was everyone using the sports car, because Formula was the only real viable option for T1.
The sports car was for the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
for the
about you,
moon-
Eva?
for-
What were you using?
I was using sports car on the moon, and I managed to get a 10K. I was very impressed with myself.
Well done. I don't think I
Yeah.
got a 10K once on that one. I came close a few times.
I was surprised. I just kept bouncing, and like usually I have a string of good bounces, like 4 or 5 in a row, and I'd managed to get to that end of the pointy end of the 10K, and I had 4 or 5 in a row, and I just kept bouncing on stuff and going forward, and I went, "Geez, I should have recorded it. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity."
Awesome, especially for someone who struggles with jump shocks.
Yeah, well,
I only had a level 5 landing boost, so 10k was impossible. But I got up to what was pretty much the limit at 1.45.
Well done.
yep, good work.
That's pretty good effort. That's good effort with level 5 landing boost. What was your wings, Alpha? What level were your wings?
12
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That would have helped. How about your jump shocks?
jump shocks 8. We're not even going to talk about the basic upgrades. They're all 15 on the sports car.
Nah, well, you don't need basic upgrades when you're doing Kanga because you spend most of your time in the air or rolling because you've got no fuel. Next team event is called Talk, as in TORQE, Talk of the Town. That one was a lot of fun from memory, and I did very well on the alt account. Actually, better than my main account on sometimes. You had the mini Jeep, bus, buggy, rally car, and the hot rod. Track 1 was Time Attack, Bill's Circuit Fast Lane with a 10K of 15.5 seconds. I didn't quite get there. I got around maybe.
With the rally car,
8K.
Pete, it was actually the lowrider, mate. The rally car was
Oh,
for
was
the
it?
Chinese version. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just took a screenshot. Lowrider, you're right. Track 2 was the wheelie in winter, which was obviously the buggy. But some people who weren't paying attention were using the lowrider. I don't know why you'd use a lowrider on a wheelie. It's terrible for wheelies.
Wasn't it a fun rig wheelie?
Yeah, the
Fun rig
wheelie was
one.
painful.
I actually quite liked it. You just had to dodge the first couple of confetti cannons and then you'd be set.
You could actually use that last confetti cannon to your advantage, like the third one. No,
Yeah, you can.
you could
Go up and then
could
tilt
fly.
back a bit.
You could fly like under everything, in a way.
Yeah, just the first two,
Only if you hit it perfectly.
try and dodge them. Track 3 was Time Attack, the usual downhill one in the beach. And track 4 was another Time Attack with flips in Challenger Cup Silo Showdown. And that one,
That was good. I enjoyed that one with the bus. I was using the bus for that.
yeah, that one was the bus.
Everyone used the bus.
That was a fun stage to do the flips on.
For people who didn't have bus thrusters, there was an option to use the hot rod, but you just had to sacrifice track 1 and use the lowrider instead of the hot rod. Moving on to the last one, which is the current team event called Trials and Tribulations. Trials and Tribulations.
Reese is really testing out these names for pronunciation. He's really he probably makes them more difficult just so we can like stuff them up.
I reckon he does for sure. Track 1 is
Thanks for that, Reese. Keep them coming.
track 1 is a cargo. Finish it as fast as you can with all the cans still in your trailer. Track 2 is another time attack. Finish as fast as you can. Track 3 is distance. And then track 4 is a long jump in the mines.
How's everybody going so far with this team event?
Horrible.
Eve?
I wasn't a fan at the start, but now that I'm starting to understand it, I kind of like it.
I reckon I can get 30K ish. I've managed a 9.5K in the mines with the truck and thrusters, wings, and winter tires.
I've got 27k with only 2k on track 1 because I'm still learning that for my levels. I'm trying tractor on there.
Yeah, I'm doing tractor on number 1, but you've got to manage the bounces. You go a bit slower. I've got a 6.5 on 1.
The first section is crucial on that track 1. You get past that little first section, and the rest of it's quite flat if you're landing on the flat surfaces.
Yeah, you just got to avoid the bumps where you can.
Especially the start. The start is there's a little slope where you should try not to lose too many cans.
Yeah, I find landing on your front wheels helps a lot instead of trying to land on your back wheels, because it just it kicks the trailer up a bit, so it dodges the bump.
If it's the tractor, though, you got to be careful not to try and lose too much momentum, because then you can jam jam the thing, unless the bucket, yeah.
I'm having that trouble on track 2. The tractor just stops suddenly for no reason while you're driving it. So I've switched to the supercar for track 2, and I'm using tractor on 1, and and the super truck on 4, and I can't even remember what I'm using on 3 at the moment.
Yeah, you got to use the snowmobile for 3.
Oh, snowmobile for 3, yeah.
Yeah, no option other than the snowmobile, mate.
Yeah. No, and that's working well. I'm doing consistent 8.5s.
8.5 to 9.
Yeah.
I'm getting the vehicles, because I haven't gone through it yet. You got tractor, lowrider again, jet ski, truck, racing truck, and Lambo. Lambo I'm using for track 2. Some people put a roll cage on, but I'm not doing that. Just take it a bit easy in the mines.
No, the parts for track 2 that I saw Verishak using was wings, coin boost, and
Afterburner.
not afterburner. OT, overcharged turbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's hitting the turbo at the right time. It's all about the turbo timing. If you time it correctly, you should clear the little middle section where you go over the top of that little hill.
Yeah.
You go over the top of that little hill, then you hit the coins, and then you go into the underpass.
That's for people with a max GP.
Yeah, that's max GPs. Somebody just reminded me of something. We're talking about the team event tournament earlier. Mad Max was in the event as well, but I think he got bundled out quite early because he's not that great.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bozo, that one.
He's a bit of a noob. So yeah, he got bundled out quite early. If anybody else from AUSNZ was in that tournament that I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But
we're going to blame the sickness, the flu. It was the flu.
Yeah, I played common cold, so sorry about that. And I was just going to say, what was I going to say? It's probably something that I would love to probably do a bit later on. But the problem is the last couple of team events have been difficult scoring, so it wouldn't have been great entering it anyway.
Well, Cheese was still getting in the 30k mark. I don't know how he was doing it.
That's Cheese.
That's Cheese.
He was in Team 2 for a few of those matches. Can't really describe it. He's just his team event scoring and his knowledge of the game is out of this world.
Yes. Yeah, very, very skilled team event player and consistent.
I would rate him probably definitely in the top 3 for both countries. There's a couple of others up there, but he's definitely in my top 3, I'd say. Move on anyway. I was just going to say, we'll talk about a bit about the lowrider. It's been a few weeks now, and we probably want to touch base on it a bit more. Thoughts on the vehicle itself and the parts that it has, but also you can't really multi-jump in this vehicle, can you?
No. It's not really set up for Kanga, but
it's not set up for Kanga. Yeah,
but you can jump really high.
Yeah, it can jump really
when
high.
it's charged.
It has the highest jump shocks of the game. It can jump the highest off say 1 step type thing.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, and I think that a lot of that was touched on when we had the public event, which was the whole lowrider. You got a mix of parts on it at max, and the thing was quite fast. Start boost is really powerful. Landing boost is pretty powerful. Overcharged turbo, again, the timing afterburner, overcharged turbo, and start boost, and you could get a decent run. And the other thing about it is using the jump shocks that are inbuilt, you can clear some pretty big gaps using the jump shocks and a good
Wings.
overcharged turbo, which is what we were seeing in the team event just gone by. In the team event, we were using, Andretti was actually using it, and I was following his line. So overcharged turbo, coin, afterburner.
Which is the world record setup.
You got a really good run, getting those overcharged turbo timings right. You could actually clear a fair bit of distance with a jump shock just after one, or with the jump just after one. So, and I think if you think about most of the tracks we play, there's plenty of time to recharge the shocks to have another jump, a little bit further down the track. So I think the vehicle overall is going to start to maybe do some records on some of the trickier tracks with the way it can jump across a chasm, miss a couple of really slow obstacles and stuff like that.
It already has 2 all-vehicle world records.
Overall, I want to ask you guys a question. Out of 10, what do we rate the vehicle out of 10?
9.
I rated about a 6 or 7.
As a fun factor, I think it's a 10, but as a all-round vehicle, I reckon it's only about a 7.
Yeah.
I think it has.
Yeah, I also give it a 7 as well. Yep.
I think it has specific tracks that it's going to be fast on, but not all tracks. Whereas you could run a formula down a couple of cars that would be great across all tracks, or would give you, it's not the cup smasher like the rally car is, or
How is it on adventure, Alfie? Is it all right?
Disgusting. Very
Disgusting.
very low fuel duration.
Oh, okay.
And it can go well. But it has 2 all-vehicle world records in time attack.
Which tracks are they?
Both held by Zorro, I believe. One on Living on the Edge with start boost, afterburner, and turbo, and the other on Spook Off with afterburner, turbo, and flip boost randomly.
Interesting.
Oh, it is very good at flips.
I also have an unofficial lowrider world record. A 20.1 on the trench.
How is it unofficial? Was it a friend challenge? Was it?
Yeah, I did it in one of Bear's challenges. The official world record's a 20.6, and I managed to get a 20.1.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, well done.
You probably
Awesome.
try and repeat that effort, mate. Oh no, because Bear's one was maxed, wasn't it?
Yes, and I don't have any of those parts for my lowrider.
Has any of you guys got all the parts yet?
I've got all the parts, and on my main account, all the important ones are maxed, other than start boost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even have coin boost yet.
I'm missing all the legendaries and afterburner.
I'm missing coin as well.
Yeah. I've got all the parts on my alt as well, but I haven't maxed all of them yet. I spent probably.
I haven't maxed the tunes yet. I'm only at level 17.
Yeah, same.
I haven't found any reason to max the tunes.
I've maxed the tunes on my main because I've just got the coins, and I've gone to 17 on all the other ones on the alt. But the one thing I will say is landing on the wheels on the lowrider. It's very similar to tractor and to monster truck and to the banana, the rotator, because you need to land on the back wheel only. Otherwise, it slows the car down.
Yeah.
It's quite bouncy, like the suspension is just very bouncy, is that?
Well, no, I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you land on the right angle on the rotator, you actually get a little bit of thrust forward, as well as the usual speed you get. Instead of slowing the car down, you actually speed the car up. If you're landing
same
properly,
with the Lamborghini.
Same as the monster truck as well. If you land on all 4 wheels flat on the monster truck, it slows down. But if you land, I think it's almost about 45 degrees to the ground that you're coming up to. As it starts to roll forward and pitch forward, you get drive out of it, and it's not driving. It's not trying to rotate the thing backwards.
which makes the monster truck wheelie boost even more powerful.
Sorry, what was that, Alpha?
That's half of the reason why the monster truck wheelie boost is overpowered, because
Yeah.
because you can land like that.
Yep.
And it gives good boost.
Yep. So the same way that all those other vehicles use that landing to their effect, the lowrider uses the same style of landing. So as long as you're aware of that, and I noticed that most in the last team event up against Dreddy's Ghost, I was watching him pull away and realised it was all about his landing technique. And obviously the timing of the overcharged turbo, but the landing technique made all the difference. And this public event that we're doing at the moment.
Listen to Trudy, for he is wise.
Yes, he is. He is very wise.
I'm actually surprised Dreddy had the skill to pull that off, to be honest. That's just quite astonishing.
The reason why I would have done it is so that the turbo charges up in the right place.
Yeah.
And it's a bonus if you can get it in that sweet spot where it launches forward.
The current public event with those detuned vehicles, I've noticed that the rotator has a very sweet spot as well. So not nearly 45 degrees, but keeping it in that range, in that angle from the road, keeps it running at a very fast pace and you don't lose any momentum, and if anything, you gain some.
So what would you say the degrees for the rotator is?
Somewhere between probably 15 and 30.
22 and a half?
Well, it's somewhere around there because you've also got to factor the roadway being not flat and all that sort of stuff. So similar to it's like I'm likening it to when you're doing wheelie on the buggy. You've got to keep the buggy without winter tires. You've got to keep the buggy at almost 90 degrees to the road to keep it upright. And some say it was a little bit further forward, but I tend to be, if I'm any further forward, I'll go straight to the ground.
Yeah, you want to go just off 90 to get like a little bit more speed.
Yeah, to get a bit more speed. Whereas, and the I've noticed that with the rotator, it was a good 15,
22 and a half degrees.
Yeah, 20
That's just the
degrees.
trades. Just the tradie talking. It's half of 45 degrees.
So that kind of helped with thrust, because when you're running in the top 15-ish in a public event, you end up running against the person who's in top spot, because you get to see their line and everything else. So I was in a couple of events today and watching what they were doing and realizing that they were pulling away, and why were they pulling away, and all of a sudden you start seeing the slight degree angle difference, and okay, you start mimicking that and you go faster. So it's all the stuff you learn as you play the game.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Alpha, do you have any stats for us?
Yes, I do. Just a couple of interesting things to report on since the last podcast. So Eric RR has reached a milestone in adventure with his total best distances coming up to 600,000 kilometers.
Wow, that's insane. It's a lot of stars.
And as I've said earlier, the lowrider's got 2 all-vehicle world records in time attack. But the most interesting one is spook on, spook off with flip boost. The technique being discovered by Zorro, and he's the current world record holder. According to him, it can be much faster as well.
With or without flip boost?
With flip boost.
Wow.
Apparently it's failed 2 insane runs. And I've got no idea what insane means in Zorro terms, because anything he does is insane regardless.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, very, very good. Alpha, you got any more?
Not to my knowledge.
No worries.
Happening.
Before we get our guest in, I just want to mention a couple of things from the Fair Play server. Speed Monkeys from Division 1 were reset during the week. We also have another Division 2 team, Elite Veterans, who got reset as well. A couple of bands. Angie from Great Outdoors was banned. They were a Division 1 team. Second band confirmed was Yamaha Rossi, who was banned by Fingersoft for unknown reasons. Also from the Great Outdoors team. And I think that's about it. No, we got another one. Baysrec, who was reported by the Fair Play server. We watched his account grow at an impossible rate. Reported to Fingersoft. Fingersoft banned it within 24 hours, using hacks to gain GP and resources with gems and money hack, or coin hack, as you would say. So yeah, just a couple of news out of the Fair Play server, and also out of the Fair Play server, we think AYM is going to be doing some weekly updates. He's going to just promote a few servers along the way, and yeah, see how it goes with that. So over to you, Eva.
Yeah. So I think it's about time we introduce Creeperz. I'm so glad that I'm actually doing this introduction because I knew Creeperz before AUSNZ. We played together on Team Cats. Creeperz went one way, I went another, and then we ended up back at AUSNZ. But I was always in awe of his ability to do team event scores. Loved his attitude within the server and Team Cats. Always a bit of a laugh. And, it was just great to have another Australian playing alongside of us before all of the other stuff started with AUSNZ. So it's great to have someone that, I could look up to and across to on the game and in the server and all that sort of stuff. And when I saw that he was coming across AUSNZ, I was really happy to have him. So without taking too much away from what he's going to talk about himself, welcome to the podcast, Creeperz, or should I say Creepish?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. I love that introduction, by the way.
So is it Creeperz or is it Creepish?
As for my Discord name, Creeperz, actually my in-game name as well, as in like creepers, or the plural of creeper, basically. So Creeperz.
Excellent. Well, I'll refer to you as Creeperz then from now on.
Creepish was a bit of a joke about his name and where it came. Well, yeah, it's a long story. We'll explain that one day somewhere else, I think. So tell us a little bit about yourself, mate. Some history, all that sort of stuff, because your game history is amazing. I really want people to hear about this.
Yeah, so I'm Creeperz and I'm from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. As far as life goes, I'm a uni student. I'm studying maths and physics, which I'm hoping to finish in the next year or so. As for what I'm interested in, I like meteorology, and that's got a really good maths background. Well, that's what you need for that. And
Yeah.
when storms come through, like Queensland, Brisbane are very well known for their storms, you'd often find me out the back of my yard watching them come in.
Yep, I've seen a few pictures posted by you, like of the skies.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the shape of lightning and everything to do with storms. I'd love to see a tornado one day.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Terrifying, but cool.
Yeah.
G'day, Creeperz, mate. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming in, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Just while you were saying you were interested in mathematics and physics, we're going to have to name you Sheldon Cooper or Leonard Hofstadter.
Oh, it's a tricky one.
Who's that?
Well, if anybody is a Big Bang Theory fan, they will know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
Sheldon Cooper's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just his pure nerdiness.
And speaking of that, would you ever take a career in being a theoretical physicist?
That's another tricky one. Yeah, I'm more into the practical side of things, like with physics and theoretical. If you're looking at like quantum physics, nuclear physics, it's all pretty hard, and I learn best hands-on. they're always hard to take that info in.
Gotta admit, I don't really know many theoretical physicists, so it's yeah, they're quite rare. So
Tell us a bit about your gaming history, mate.
So I started HCR 1, the original one, about 2013, 2014, back when the Kitty Express was the latest vehicle or the most
I remember that.
expensive. Yeah. And then about 2016-ish, I heard about HCR2 through YouTube, and I saw it in the App Store and thought I'd give that a go. And so I've been playing HCR2 since the Brick sports car was the fastest vehicle in the game.
Now the slowest.
Yep, now it's the slowest. Really sluggish, just like a brick. My team history, my first team, it was a team called Oz A Team, and that was where I met You Can't Beat Me, a popular member in the server. And I was there for quite a while. He eventually left, went to Team Cats, and took a bit of convincing, but he managed to convince me to move over there, and that's where I met you, Eva, and Hessa, and even Vereshak and some of his teammates there. And I was there for quite a while, a fair few months. I got invited to go to Vereshak's team, and I was there for 4 or 5 months, maybe a bit longer. That was such an honour to be there. And then I heard about AUSNZ, You Can't Beat Me, sent me a message to join the server. I think from memory I was about third or fourth member in the actual server. But a little bit later, when I actually joined the team, here I am. I've been a long time member of AUSNZ.
I was extremely envious of you going to the Vereshak team. I wanted to be there, but I knew my scores were just not good enough. And I was so proud of you going there. I was so happy that we had an Australian on there, and that you were showing them how it was done and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was extremely envious. And yeah, you did us really, really proud.
Thank you.
yeah, that team was called Vereshak. Like it was his name, wasn't it? That was the name of the team, wasn't it?
When I was there, it was just called Vereshak TM trademark.
Did you get to know the great man himself, mate? Did you have many conversations with him and things like that?
I certainly did. And I found out that he was from Ukraine, which is really interesting. I'm friends with him on Discord, I think, still.
Yeah, he is from Ukraine. I've heard that as well, and he's a little bit preoccupied due to world events at the moment. So if he's listening to this, best wishes to you, Varys. We'll chat to you soon.
Going from that team to AUSNZ, what was your first impressions of the AUSNZ team?
I reckon it had its similarities in terms of a really tight-knit community. And AUSNZ, everyone just seemed to be really positive and almost connecting on a personal level, because everyone was from a similar area. Everyone was from Australia or New Zealand, and it allowed just to bond much easier.
Yeah, I must say the time delay in responding to people within the game and within Discord when everybody's asleep and you're the only person awake was always the thing that made me want to. As soon as I heard about AUSNZ, it was like, no, I want to be there. I want to be there.
Yeah, that was another problem that I had. Time zones. Most of the players were from North America or Europe.
Yep.
And there were many times where I was the only one on, and no one to talk to.
Yep.
Then when I came to AUSNZ, everyone was in the same time zone, and message times or response times were much quicker.
Yeah. What else can you tell us about the game and what you love about it?
I like to consider myself almost an all-round player, except I'm not very good at time trials, rather terrible at them. So mainly team events and adventure. I just recently hit 3 million stars with the addition of the new map and new vehicle. Been waiting for that moment for such a long time.
At one stage in adventure, you were our top adventure player in Australia, I believe.
Yeah, there was a period of about 7 months where I was the highest ranked adventure player in Australia before
Yep.
DeBell, in all his madness,
Bill Tricky.
he rocketed past me. Same with Trekkie and Josh as well.
Tricky and Josh, yeah, they're closing in big time on DeBell. We actually got DeBell currently listening on. Shout out to you, DeBell, mate. But yeah, they're closing in fast on him, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. I now let them fight for the top spot.
I reckon GTR's going to take over soon.
Oh, mate.
He's going to pick up the adventure train and he's just going to go for it.
Don't even go there. I'll have to release another 5 vehicles before I hit bloody 1 million stars.
Well, I must confess I lied last time. I said that between my 2 accounts I had 3 million stars, and I was wrong. It's only like 2.7. It's ridiculously bad. No, seeing your name up there on the adventure and all that sort of stuff. And you say you're not good at time trial, but your team event ability is amazing. Like, just amazing. Because time trial is one thing, because time trial you can do the same track 100 times and do fast. But with a team event, you've got one attempt to do all 4 tracks. And the pressure, I think, in a team event is a whole lot higher than the pressure you need to do time attack. When you say you're not good at time attack, I tend to say that you are, but you just don't spend time on it, as opposed to you spend time in other areas of the game. So, yeah, I think you're probably one of the best all-round players that I know. And I know a few players, but I'd still say that you're probably one of the best all-round players.
I'd have to agree with that comment. Eva is spot on there. You're definitely one of the best all-round players in Australia. Both countries, actually, Australia and New Zealand. I rate you very highly, Creeps. So, mate, yep, in my books and a lot of other players as well, you're highly respected within the community. So, congrats on that, mate.
Thanks. I feel honoured now.
Rightfully so.
And rightfully so.
Just going on that, Creeps, just before we move on, the podcast hosts have created a little list that we haven't really wanted to talk about this too much, but we've created a list of the top 50 players in Australia and New Zealand that we think is the top 50. I'm not going to read the list out because we're going to save that list for another episode, or we're going to probably cut the list in half and do one episode and another half another episode. But I currently have you ranked 9th in the top 50, mate. In my opinion, you're the 9th best player in both countries overall. I'm not going to read out the top 10. I'm not going to read out any other players. You're ranked 9th. So to be ranked 9th in regards to your peers and things like that, mate, that's quite an achievement, and that's quite highly respected, and say that you're one of the best players in the community.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll probably give you a sneak view of that list later on if you don't tell anybody else. Pete,
We
don't know
where you live, but we'll just say we know where you live.
Like a true creeper.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, look, that's something look, the other hosts and Muzz and Murray have probably said it's probably a little controversial to create such a list, but I think it's got to be a bit more perfected. There's still a few spots, a few changes in that list that the hosts need to go through.
It's sort of forever changing, isn't it? Like
it is forever changing.
Yeah, everyone has their strengths.
We mainly base the list upon team events and time attack, along with adventure, but pretty much just those 3 modes. But it's a list that will create. It'll get people talking in the community. I probably want to work on that in the next few episodes, and maybe we can do like a 50 to 26, and then another episode like 25 to 11, and then we can reveal the top 10 in another episode, and we can talk about each player. So that's something we will share with you listeners in the future. And maybe after that list, we can probably do a world one, which will be even more trickier. Yeah.
I'm keen now.
Yeah, exactly. Creeps, just before we go on to questions and a few other things, mate, tell us what a few of your interests, what you do outside of HCR2, any sports or anything that any place you've travelled to, you've been overseas or anything?
I've never been overseas, but I've been to lots of places around Australia. I know I've been to WA, Perth, and all along the coast, along there, then Northern Territory, Darwin, Alice Springs, Uluru. They're all famous places. I've been to Cairns at Daintree. That's a lovely place there. I definitely recommend it if you ever get the chance. As for some of my hobbies, I love my
some
sport.
hobbies.
Yeah, I love my sport, mainly cricket, AFL, the real footy.
I do see you chatting in the sports channel, mate. There, you, myself, Muzz, and a few others. We do, and Alpha as well. We love our sports, so I do see you chatting in that channel for sure. And Dreddy with his collie wobbles.
Yeah, I'm a Bulldogs fan and I despise Collingwood with a passion. Same with Richmond. Sorry, Alpha.
Well, I want to say I despise the Dogs, but I don't. I actually don't have anything against them.
That's good to know.
Except for they're a bunch of dogs.
Yeah, so I love my sport. I play cricket. I've started doing a bit of indoor cricket now, and that's a lot more fast-paced than the outdoor cricket that many people would be familiar with. I like my music as well. I've been playing piano for over 10 years now and recently started picking up, it's called the cajon. It's like basically a box that you sit on, snares running through it, so percussion. That's good fun.
Hmm.
And I love my gaming as well. So, given my name.
What about first-person shooters? You into first-person shooters or what's that other one that it's hugely popular? I can't remember the acronym for it, but it's like World of Warcraft type thing. Those type of games.
A little bit, but I'm more into
What's it called? Multi mega player something. I can't remember what it's called.
massively multiplayer online.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that. I've played RuneScape before, if you've ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
I've
play
heard of that.
Minecraft as well.
Yeah, I've heard of Skyrim. Have you played Skyrim?
No, I've never played Skyrim.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
something to look at, mate, in the future. Once you get bored of HCR2.
Yeah, and new mobile games as well. So, yeah, HCR2 and Clash of Clans, another one, and a bit of Bloons as well. Bloons Tower Defense 5 and 6.
Do you mainly do PC or do you favour console gaming?
Bit of both. I also like my Mario and Zelda and Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But mainly PC and mobile.
Yeah, mobile's good because it's on you all the time.
Yeah, often when I'm
You just pick it up whenever you got some time.
heading into uni on the train, just do a few cups, maybe a few adventure runs or attacks on Clash of Clans. Great way to kill the time for long train rides.
Yeah, beautiful. You go for it, Eve.
Well, do you think we should start asking some questions from the audience?
Yes, please.
Funny you should mention that because I was actually just in the channel and I've already got my first question picked out.
All right. Well, how about you go first, mate?
I've already done that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, in that case, Pete, I'd love you to go first, mate. I'll go after you.
My one is from Muzz. It says, okay, here's one. What was it like playing in the same team as V-Man? Did he smash out high scores straight away or did he fail first like a normal human being?
Yeah, so I was in Vereshak's team for a while and Yeah, that was a real honour. Had such a really nice community as well, similar to what we have here. That is an international team. As for his scoring ability, often in close matches, he just had this ability to smash it out when the team needed it most. Yeah, he did fail here and there, but very rarely did I see him have a bad score, like under 20k, for example, 25k. So what you see on YouTube, like his 30, 35k scores, that's pretty consistent with what he does with his scoring.
So does he get there quickly, or does it take him a few goes to get it?
Sometimes it takes a few goes. Sometimes he does get it first try.
I have a really great question from AUSNZ Amy. Amy, a massive shout out to you, and thanks for asking the question. Now, I really love this question. It's probably one of my most favorite questions in recent podcasts episodes. And in the future, I'm definitely going to be trying to ask it to every future guest we have on the episode. Now, Amy writes, if you had to choose 5 AUSNZ players and 5 non-AUSNZ players to be on a team with you, who would you choose and why?
Oh, this is a great question. Where to start? So my first, for AUSNZ, the AUSNZ players, my first will be Swiss Cheese, like really good team event score, like elite, like best in the world or up there.
Mhm.
Great at adventure, time trials, just an all-round good player. BG as well, really good at time trials, team event scoring.
He's on the plane, isn't he?
Yep, that's for sure. A third would be Josh, like great team event scorer, really good at adventure and time trials, another good all-round player. A fourth would be yourself, Amy, like great all-round player, particularly team events, and time trials. And finally, can you merge Dreddy and Greenie into one player?
I reckon we can. Probably, we've got lots of Tasmanian jokes about that, but we won't go there. That's an awesome list, I must say.
2 elite Aussie scorers. It would be great to have them in a dream team.
Yeah, Greenie and Dreddy together, eh? That's a great combination. What about your non-AUSNZ players, mate? More international players that you know of who would love to be on team with, that you be on team with?
And for the non-AUSNZ players, I try to keep a balance of great teammates, like former teammates, and players who are just freaks.
Yep.
So my first would be, or in no particular order, Vereshak himself.
Of course.
Having been in his team, I know what he's capable of. My second would be like Zigzag Kevin, like a former teammate of mine and great team scorer and all-round great guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. My third would be Leo Liu, like another one of the freaks of the game. Just seeing how he can wheelie like 10,000 meters in the countryside. My other players would be Can Into Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, having seen what he's capable of.
Yeah, the things that Canada Space does with not just the wheelie, but with vehicles that you wouldn't think to do a certain thing, he will do it.
And Linus, like all-round player, like really good at adventure now, like particularly time trials and team events, seeing what he's capable of. Oh, it'd be so good to have him in the team.
Yeah, for sure. That's, again, like another amazing list.
Yeah, and there are plenty more players I could add, but there are only 5.
Yeah. That would be, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting for to have a new facet to the game. Maybe having a team event with top 5s. Who knows? Well, if you're listening, Reese, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, one of my favourite questions, mate, and I probably want to ask that question continuously for the next, for most of our guests that come on in the future. Go for it. I think it's up to you.
Considering the tie-in, you know which question I'm going to ask next. It's a question from Tessa Cat. Hello, Tessa. I'm going to read it word for word because I want to try and get the feeling across. Hi, Creeperz. I'm looking forward to this podcast. A long time ago, You Can't Beat Me, Hi Beat, told me about an Aussie top scorer, and he brought you to Team Cat. Later, you and me moved to Vereshak's team, and after a while, you left to join AUSNZ. You told me you miss being with Aussies. How different is it being on an international team from being on a national team?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tessa. One of the differences is, international versus a national team. So with a national team, an Aussie or New Zealand team, you can just relate a bit better on a personal level. You can share a bit more banter with them. And also, like both teams, whether it's international or not, they're all competing for the same goal, which is, to climb the ladder or the rankings as high as they can, all competing for that one course.
And there's also less lost in translation, euphemisms and Australianisms and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a good question. Very good question from Tessa.
Alfie.
Alfie, I think, is up next. Yeah.
I've got a question from Cthulhu. Tell us what your perfect team event would look like.
It's another great question. I was waiting for this one. My ideal team event, I'd like all team events to be themed. So, for example, all fast vehicles involve like supercar, superbike, formula, rally, racing truck, or old school vehicles, so like Jeep, scooter, motocross, sports car, even monster truck to a point. I reckon 40k should always be possible, even if it is tricky. So having like time trial races where 10k is the world record speed or faster, I reckon it should be a little bit slower to allow a lot more people to achieve it. If we're talking events, like actual runs, I like, one of my favourite is Angry Bill or the box smash. There's something so satisfying about smashing boxes. I really like Water Run with the snowmobile and driving as far as you can with that before you run out of fuel. Hill climb racing, so hill climbing, big hill with the rally or dune buggy, always good fun. And as for the racing aspect, I love more time trials, just pure speed with fast vehicles, like Rotator, particularly with coin boost, afterburner, wings. It's one of my favourite combinations on fairly flat tracks. And you could also chuck in a multi-jump or a long jump in there.
Not bad.
Yeah, very good question there, and good answer, mate. I have a question from. Let's have a look here. I saw it before, and it was.
While you're looking, I'll just ask a quick one.
Go for it.
I've got one here from Rexu,
Oh.
and he wants to know what is your go-to cheese for breakfast?
For breakfast, huh?
For breakfast.
I don't think I really have cheese for breakfast, but as for
I do sometimes.
As for my favourite type of cheese, I'm lactose intolerant, so my cheese selection is very limited to either hard cheeses or aged cheeses or the lactose-free varieties, but there's something really good about a nice sharp Parmesan cheese or Romano. I'm guilty of just eating it straight off the block.
Oh, wow.
I agree.
Do you lack toes? I lack thumbs.
Good, just good old mate.
Fun fact, I do actually play with my fingers, not my thumbs.
Mate Brobot knows that as well by now because he's one of you.
He knows everything.
He's got no thumbs. He doesn't play with his thumbs.
He sees everything in the server. As
That's
soon
right.
as you mention
sees
something,
everything in
he's
the
onto
server.
it.
I was going to ask my question, Rips, and do you have the highest IQ in the community, or is it Mad Max?
Oh no. I was hoping this question wouldn't be answered. As for my IQ, I've never done a proper IQ test, so I wouldn't know. But I've heard they're not a measure of intelligence as such, because you can be really smart at something and not so smart at something else, and everyone's different. So I can't really give a proper answer to that.
So yes, you are smart.
I guess, maybe.
He's also very politically correct.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's answered it very smartly. You got a question, Eva?
This is actually from Mad Max. So from one smart guy to another smart guy. I must be getting something that that GDR's been giving out because I'm a bit sick. I'm coughing. Who has been the best leader of T1 so far, and why aren't you the leader?
Oh, that's a tough one. I reckon they've all been good in their own right. They've all had their own specialty and different way of leading the team. All competing all leading the same cause, trying to be the best team we can. Like Cam did really well, like starting the team and being the founding leader of the team. Just his way of rallying everyone together. And Bob, he was able to continue that with the same passion that Cam did, and Balder as well. And then, Dreddy, just his sheer passion and his ability to gather the troops together, even when we're down and like getting smashed in CC. He just has this ability to, get everyone hyped up to do the best they can.
Cool, that's fair enough. So why would you like to be team leader?
I'm not sure if I have the ability to just rev people up, because some of you may know that I'm not the biggest talker around, and trying to rally everyone together, not really my strong point.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just while you're looking, I've got a real quick question from Dreddy. Do penguins have knees?
My first guess would be no, they don't. I've done no research about this. My first guess would be no, just the way they walk. They don't really bend their legs, or their joint is like in their body, a bit like how chickens have their joint like in their body, and then it's just their legs and their feet.
So I'd say we'd have to refer to our bird expert just across the room. Alpha, do they have knees?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Penguins have knees, but it's covered by the amount of feathers they have, like in that part of their body.
Yeah, I knew the expert would be able to answer this.
All right, give us your question,
They
Alpha.
actually have quite long legs too. They just look short because of the amount of feathers around the legs. Okay, my question: who is a better adventure player, DeBell or Trekkie?
I mean, they're both good in their own right, but I'm sort of biased towards DeBell. He was the one who spurred me on and trying to get me to 3 million stars, and then once he overtook me, he was just able to really shoot up, and then found Trekkie was following very closely. But I'd be biased towards DeBell.
Yeah. Speaking of DeBell, Creeps, he's got a question. Why did you start HTR2, and what is your favourite part of being in AUSNZ?
Yeah, I started HCR2 when Yeah, I'd been playing HCR1 for a number of years. Then I maxed my first account, or my first device on that, plus an extra 100 or so million coins. And then I saw a YouTube video, and one of the comments mentioned HCR2, like, will you be posting HCR2 content? I was like, HCR2, what's that? And then, a short time later, thought I'd give it a search on the App Store and just give it a go. So I downloaded it, and this was when teams didn't exist, parts didn't exist. Where the sports car was the fastest vehicle, and coins were much harder to come by. I thought I'd download it, give it a go. It was really good fun. It was fresh back then. It'd only been out for about 3 months, and just really enjoyed it. And then eventually teams came along, and it really shot up from there. And my favourite part about being in AUSNZ, it's all about competing for a common cause, like being the best team we can, but also gives me a sense of national pride, like being proud to be an Aussie in a local team.
Absolutely, mate. Trying to always improve and being consistent in CC for a long time, and that's definitely something to be proud of. So, and I think all of the players in Team 1 are extremely proud of that achievement.
Yeah, that's sure.
Here's a question from Jackrabbit. Shout out to Jackrabbit. If you
JR, mate, you better get the censors on this one before you start. Either it might be something rude.
I've read it twice just to be sure there's no innuendo in it.
You gotta double check JR's questions. That's for sure.
And I love this question. When I read it, I went, "Oh my god, I'd love to answer that myself." If you were to suggest to Fingersoft what would be a nice incentive or reward and distinction in game that would set max GP players apart from other players or highlight their achievement?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've been maxed for a fairly long time now. I tried to think beyond the obvious of like another achievement, saying like reaching, fully upgrading all vehicles. I thought maybe a flag outline, a bit like how pit crew have like a gold outline around their flag when they race.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a silver one or a blue one, like blue outline. But I also thought of something else, auras. So when you drive, you have this like faint aura around your vehicle, a bit like how the CC EV, the electric vehicle, has one around when you pop the engine.
Yep.
And you get that burst of speed. How you get this white aura or that faint blue aura for the legendary skin, but I'd make it a bit more subtle. And this would also be visible for other people on your Ghost. Like other people would be able to see it in your Ghost.
Yeah, fair.
In like public events, team events. And these, like once you hit max GP, they'd all be unlockable. Like you wouldn't need to unlock them through chests. So there'd just be a series of auras which you get like straight away.
Would you be able to turn it on and off? Like your animations for the characters?
Yeah, you would. A bit like animations would be another category in the looks chart or looks channel.
How about a nice new hat? Max GP hat.
Yeah, that would also be pretty cool along the lines of, an achievement. Yeah,
like a Canyonier's hat.
A Max GP hat, that sounds pretty good. Need a cool name though, which I haven't really thought of one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting spin on what I thought you were going to say. Because when I was thinking of that question, I was thinking about a different skin. But the aura sounds even better. I like it.
Yeah, I tried to think beyond the obvious, like skins or
obvious
achievements.
Yeah.
Intelligent.
Listen to Dreddy for his wise might need to be changed.
Very good.
Probably your turn, GDR.
Creepers, we probably answered this already, but we'll say it again. Got a question from Aiden. Massive shout out to Aiden. Great player in the server, great person all around, and he asks, worst adventure map, worst part, and your most disliked vehicle in the game.
My worst adventure map would have to be winter. Just boring. Simple as that.
Okay.
My worst part, the air control. I'm yet to find any real good use out of it.
Now we did use the air control in this last team event with the bus. So would you still count it? Would you still count it out then?
Yeah, I'd still count it out.
So you would count it air control out over flip boost, because I find flip boost useless unless it's for a specific team event where you are doing flips.
Flip boost, while it may not be the most useful part, when you do use it, it is pretty satisfying. The air control, not really. I'm thinking mainly from an adventure point of view, because that's one of my stronger points. And
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'd never use air control in adventure.
And that's
very
true.
Rarely in team events. Even events like the Moon, you can get away with it with the Jeep. You just get jump shots, wings, flip boost or magnet. Like the wings, they gradually cause you to rotate in the air, and you can flip even faster than what the air control would allow you to do.
Yep. And thinking back on that public event where you picked up parts along the way, as soon as you picked up that air control, it was a lot harder to race with. So you make a good point with the air control.
Yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I chose it. So that's a very specific public event. Air control, it would mess everything up.
Yep.
And your worst vehicle?
Probably the mono wheel. Sorry, Daspo, if you're listening. But this is mainly from...
Yeah, sorry, Daspo. I'd have to agree with Creeperz there too.
This is mainly from an adventure point of view, where you'd be so close to 10k or a really high score, and then just takes one wrong landing, or you land a bit too quick, or you take off too quick and you smash your head. Not fun at all. Never felt more like throwing my phone than with the mono wheel.
Are you having flashbacks to your 9,998 meter run with 101 Forest?
Yeah, in the forest adventure.
Oh, that's no good, is it?
Yeah, I got 9,998 meters with the mono wheel, and it took at least a year, maybe even 2 years before I finally got it 10k. I mean, I wasn't trying the whole time, but
there's no obstacle at 10k. Like, how did you die there?
I think I was going for a fuel. Like, I slowed down for a fuel, and in that process, I think I leaned back too far, and I hit my head just slightly. Or because I was leaning too far back, I wasn't ready for it to go uphill again, and I smashed my head forwards.
Good.
So my question is from Antux. I think that's how you say it. Do you like using Kangaroo?
Do I like using Kangaroo? The short answer would be no. I reckon Kangaroo, it broke the game in terms of like scoring ability, and in adventure, just being able to continue on without fuel.
It's actually surprising. I'm actually surprised by that answer from you, because you're actually a very good Kangaroo player. Your jump shot skill is quite high, and I definitely rate you up there, some of the best in Australia, mate. So I'm actually quite surprised at that answer.
Yeah, I reckon I'm pretty good with Kangaroo if I have fuel. But the problem with Kangaroo is it's designed for you to be able to go on without fuel. They're trying to, particularly in the desert and the sheer amount of meters you can go, like 60, 70, 100,000 meters with Kangaroo. I just haven't worked out how to do that yet.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting answer, mate. But you're definitely very good. I used to when I was first starting to learn, I used to always ask remember asking you in the public event when we used to do Friday night flash mobs and everything, and I'd always try and follow you. And yeah, you were kind of like my inspiration to learn how to do it.
Thank you.
So I'm surprised that you don't think it's a good. Well, it's not saying it's a good addition to the game, but I'm surprised that it's not one of your favourites.
I think it's also a combination of just jump shocks as well, like using start boost, wings, jump shocks. I can never get the landings right with that. Kangaroo, yeah, similar, but to a lesser extent.
Got a question from Savage, AUSNZ Savage, so shout out to him. And also the same question he answered was from, I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Is it Barra? SB? His name is Barra? BRARSB. Anyway. Savage says favourite player, and Barra says best player in your opinion, all rounder.
Oh, I don't really know if I have a favourite player. There's so many to choose from. And then you could either break that down into like favourite AUSNZ players or international players. As for best player, it's a tricky one between maybe Linus or Liu, Zorro, Can Into Space. They're all just out of this world with the freakish things they can do.
Would you put SB Draken from Germany in that group as well?
Yeah, I reckon he'd go in the list. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, some interesting answers to those questions. Yeah, I suppose you could put quite a few people in those brackets, can't you? There's a lot of players around the world, but yeah, and we obviously know from AUSNZ who are the best players and stuff like that. So yeah, some interesting answers for coming out of those questions. So thanks to the guys for answering. Sorry for asking those.
There's only one more question from a player named Coy, one of the guests in the podcast server. Have you played Minecraft?
Yes, I have. That's part of where I got my name from. Where I was so obsessed with Creeperz that when I was younger, my name used to be I Like Creeperz, just all one word with a Z as well. And then I thought when I was much older, that sounded a bit childish, so I shortened it to just Creeperz. So yes, I have played Minecraft. I've been playing it on and off since about 2012, I think, 2011 or 2012. Yeah, it's such a great game.
A good 10 years.
Yeah, I reckon Enderman had just been added when I started playing. So yeah, a long time.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I have one just from me. It's more of a general question. Do you know what colour the letter 7 had for breakfast?
What is that one? What the
Could you say that again?
letters had for breakfast?
What colour the letter 7 had for breakfast?
The colour the letter 7 had for breakfast.
Yes.
That's a mouthful in itself.
Could be likened to Pete's Power Public Events.
Don't drag me into it.
I can't even see that question from you. I could see a Norway question from you, Alpha, but I can't see that one.
No,
He's made it up now.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Sounds like a bit of nonsense to me. But an orange, maybe? Could be food to colour. You could have oranges for breakfast, can't you?
My answer probably would have been rectangular prism.
That's not a colour.
Well, 7 isn't a letter.
What about a dodecahedron?
That's
If you're
perfect.
talking super fancy.
That's perfect. You see, I've worked with some people and customers where it gets to a point where you have to ask them to smell the colour 9 because you're going to get nothing sensible out of them after that.
Very good.
That's a good question. In all its...
There's one question here from Mad Max, and it's the opposite of Aiden's question, which is, what is your favourite adventure map, your favourite vehicle, and your favourite part?
My favourite vehicle Well, actually, my favourite everything in terms of being fun to use, fun to play on, it would have to be Gloomvale. It's pretty new still, and I like all its quirks. Well, actually, Gloomvale or the Reef, with all its quirks and the underground, underwater environment. Really fun to race on and to drive on. My favourite vehicle would have to be the Rotator.
Yeah, I love the
Coin
rotator
boost.
as well.
Yes,
Yep.
your coin boost, afterburner, wings. You can
And
fly
wings.
with that.
Yes. Yeah, and not just fly, but absolutely just the speed that it generates goes quick.
So, just on that, then, do you agree with that comment before about the angle of landing helps you shoot off even faster?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
And it's a fine balance between landing right and getting more speed, and landing a bit too far upright and squashing the back wheel.
Yep.
So you would agree it's about 22.5 degrees.
Yeah, between 15 and 30, somewhere there. Whether it's 17, 29, or I guess 22 and a half.
Good. Alpha's going. We're just going to quickly say cheers to Alpha. So thanks, buddy.
See ya, Alpha.
Cheers.
I'm going to head off too, guys. I've had a massive day.
All right, Pete. We'll start wrapping up. Thanks, Pete, for coming in too, mate. So Alpha and Pete, we appreciate it, and
Oh, good.
we'll start wrapping things up. There's one more question before we wrap it up. I've been eyeing off this one for a while now, and he's quite a new member into the server and also into the AUSNZ2, and he's actually been playing He's been playing really well and has impressed Muzz and myself. And to be honest, I didn't think he would stick around, but he's stuck around and he's become quite a good player. Is our friend called Funky Up. He's a YouTube video creator and currently in Team 2. And his question is to you, Creeperz, is what's your go-to Macca's order?
Yeah, I like to keep it pretty simple. It's usually just a medium, like chicken McSpicy with a Coke. It's either chicken or the McSpicy or a Big Mac. Pretty simple.
It's actually a question we should probably keep permanently ask all our guests that question because
But yeah, a medium chicken McSpicy with a Coke.
What about you, Eva? What's your go-to Macca's meal, mate?
I just look at the menu because you know what annoys me now is the whole menu isn't on display when you go up to drive-through. So I get
Well, that's true, isn't it? I've noticed that.
I get
They encourage
sidetracked
you
by
to get
whatever's
the app.
on the board in front of me. I just go, oh, what do I want? Oh, they're only showing me 3 burgers. I've got to pick one of those 3. So
Because the boards change, don't
yeah,
they?
they
And if you
do,
don't,
and
if it's not on the right, it's not.
they grab your eye by moving stuff on the board, and the straws change, and the Coke changes to Fanta or something. But no, I like an Angus meal because I used to have McFeast all the time,
Beautiful.
and they used to make them even though they weren't on the menu. And now you go up and ask for a McFeast, they don't know what it is. So
Fun fact about the Angus burger. Once I ordered one, I was at the counter, and it came to me within about 10 seconds.
that's fast
Oh
food.
no way! That's quick.
And then
I bet you would have checked the meat patty to make sure it was cooked.
Yeah, then I ate it, and something didn't quite taste right, and I've never ordered one since. So I wonder if it was just left there for a while and waiting for someone to order it so then they can just use that.
See, that reminds me of my days. I worked at KFC for 5 years.
Oh, geez, some KFC stories. I was just going to go there.
And
you beat me to it.
I worked there for 5 years, and there was a young girl, her name was Amy. That's no reflection on our
Oh.
Amy, but
Shout out to Amy.
her name was
How you
Amy.
doing, Amy?
And she was very timid. She was extremely, extremely shy. And these 4 guys had walked in, and we had drive-through, but they'd walked into the front of the store. They got served by Amy, and she fluffed their order and left 4 fillet burgers with extra mayonnaise off their order. And because they made so much noise and ruckus, when they realised they didn't get their fillet burgers, they drove up to the drive-through window, and I served them at the window, and they said, "Oh, we're just in there, blah 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 blah, and we didn't get our burgers." And I said, "Oh," I went straight up. I said, "Yep, I remember that. No problems. We've sold you 4. I'll make you 4 fresh ones." And the guy was like, "Oh, you're so kind. Yes, I am." So I went over and made 4 fillet burgers. Now, this is all stuff I probably shouldn't talk about, non-disclosure agreements, because I used to work at KFC. But regulation was 2 clicks of mayonnaise for a standard burger, 14 grams of lettuce, fillet skin side down on top of the lettuce, bun on top, wrap the bun with the paper, put in a bag. So I went and made these 4 fillet burgers with 8 clicks of mayonnaise, 4 on top, 4 on the bottom, put on 14 grams of lettuce, closed them as gingerly as I could, put them in a bag, walked over to the window, handed them to him, and as I let go of the bag, I said, "Wait." And he looked at me, and I reached across, and I grabbed 1 serviette, and I handed it to him. There's 4 people in the car. I handed him 1 serviette. "You might need this." "Thanks, mate." They drove off. And I'm sure that when they bit into those burgers, the fillet spat out the other side.
Oh, that's too funny.
But
Yeah.
those were the days. Those were the days.
Speaking of that, look, JR has actually, I don't know, we're going off a little topic here, but JR has actually requested that the hosts have their own episode one day soon, and we'll have to get you on, Eva, and you can share some more stories with us about KFC and a few
I have
other
way
things,
too
mate.
many stories to fit in one episode.
We'll have to, shove the non-disclosure agreement aside and, have some fun there.
Oh no, that was a bit of fun on the NDA. No, there was no NDA. It was just the stuff I could tell you about KFC, the fun we had. It was a really good environment, and if I had kids, I would get them to work there for at least a year, because I think it's an amazing environment to work in.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Look, and speaking of what JR has requested, look, just something we're going to think about doing down the track. Maybe we'll do a special episode.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do a milestone episode down the track, and the hosts can have their turn and talk about themselves for an hour and a half.
Might have some past guests on asking us questions.
And we will have some past guests. Yeah, we have some special hosts come on as well. Yeah, all these ideas that have been shot to us, guys. We do listen to what you guys suggest to us, and all these things are all listed down, and something we'll definitely do in the future.
All right,
Eva, let's probably start wrapping up. We'll go to the special thanks. Let's get Creeperz to come in and do a couple of shout outs, I guess.
Yeah, I've got a small list here. So, in no particular order, You Can't Beat Me, a long-term team member. Like, he was in my very first team, and in AUSNZ now. Eva,
just got to mention he's a bloody Hawk supporter though, mate. I do give him a bit of stick for that, so I'm not happy about that, but that's okay. We'll just let that slide.
Eva as well for met you in Team Cat, and here we are again racing together.
Yep.
Like Tessa, like leader of Team Cat, who also got me into Verishak's team as well. Another long-term team member to Verishak himself, and like the crew that runs his team, so DA as well. He's another pit crew member, and Fingersoft. Yeah, really good guys. And great to race with DeBell for always encouraging me, like with my adventure, and when I'm struggling, always spurring me on to try and do better to get more stars, to get that 3 million. To Dreddy, you were the one who originally got me into AUSNZ, and to Stal, like a former player who used to race with us. He was always my aspiration for adventure. Yeah, if he didn't quit the game, he'd probably still be the number one adventurer in Australia. So yeah, I was always chasing Stal, and yeah, great guy.
Beautiful, mate. And some notable mentions you've mentioned there, and all great players in their own respect. So yeah, it's
and
good-
also shout out
shout out.
to all my current and former teammates who
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, everybody in the AUSNZ community, all 800 plus of them.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Eva?
Yeah, I just I want to say thanks again for coming on. I know we've been asking a fair bit for you to come on, and we really appreciate having you on. It's like I said before, it was great to have you to play with you in Team Cats many years ago, and then to finally have you come back to AUSNZ. That was really cool. And yeah, it's great to have some of your caliber on the show, and also someone from Australia with your caliber. So it's great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Mm.
It was really enjoyable.
Thanks, Creeps, for coming on. And on behalf of Alpha and Pete, who left us a little bit earlier, I'm sure they want to say thanks to you as well, Creeps. So thanks for coming on the episode, and it's been great to chat to you, getting to know you a little bit better.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
it was really good.
I must finalise and finish off the show. So thanks everybody for listening.
Just before you go, fellow podcast hoster,
Yeah.
I want to announce our next guest for
I
the
was
next episode.
just about to throw you under the bus, mate.
So did I beat you to it? I beat you to it, didn't I? I didn't even give you the chance. Oh, sorry about that.
No. That's fine. That's fine. I like it. I like the banter. So GDR, who are we having coming on next, mate?
Well, that's a great question. I've got a bit of a soft spot for this team, always have. In particular, one individual, or a couple of them anyway, but one person that I've gotten to know over the last 6 months or so is my fellow Fair Play server moderator, is Devastator from Team Chaos. Devastator is actually going to be bringing a couple of his mates with him from Chaos. Jordan is the leader of Chaos and the leader of the Chaos community. Jordan will be on, as well as Lupin. I think that's how you say his name, is Lupin or Lupin? Lupin.
This sounds like it's going to be
Lupine.
a very,
It's gonna
very
be
long
Lupine.
episode.
Is it going to be a chaotic episode?
I think it's going to be a bit of a chaotic episode. I might have to get my Maxwell Smart impersonations out.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a chaos episode. But yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. There's a bunch of lads. Yeah, as Dreddy just said in the channel now. Dreddy's live with us now, guys. But we'll put him. Can't really put him on at the moment, but he's just chatting in the channel saying, good bunch of guests coming up next, and I totally agree with that. Should we give some clues in a month's time, Eva? What do you reckon?
I'll leave that for the next episode. How's that?
We'll leave that for the next episode. No problem. All right. Thanks, Creeps, again. Thanks, Eva, for taking the reins, mate, for my little mishap. I'm feeling actually a bit better at the moment. At the start of the episode, I was feeling pretty bad, but I'm not feeling too bad at the moment. Maybe it's starting to go.
Alrighty. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks again, everybody, for listening, and look forward to the chaos, in a couple of weeks' time. And thanks again for listening. Thanks again for all the questions and all the comments we get from people listening and passing on messages, private messages, and the comments within the channels. It's really appreciated. We work hard to get this to you, and we love the comments. Thank you very much. Keep it up. Bye for now. See you, everybody. Have a wonderful week and weekend.
Bye, guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you.